All right there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Today, we're going to take this 1975 Ford highboy home. Buddy of mine had it. He said he's liquidating. He got it from another buddy and doctored it up a little bit. I don't know what all he did, but he says it should drive home. So we're going to throw a battery in this thing. And we're about 2 hours from home on a normal pickup. So I'm guessing this thing probably goes like 50 miles an hour. So I don't know a ton about Ford highboys, but I think this thing's got like either a 360 or 390, maybe a 4-speed. And I think they got divorce transfer cases. I think they got, I don't know. It's got new tires. I'm guessing he put brakes on it. Looks like somebody's patched up the fender there. He sent me a couple pictures. I said, looks good. Seat looks torn. Yep, definitely a 4-speed. I don't know. I think 77 was the last year of the highboys. I think they call them highboys because they sat higher. She's got some Bondo. Good stuff. Mismatched tailgate. We're supposed to leave him his radiators because he's got to sell those. It's got a toolbox. We're definitely keeping his license plates. What did he do? Freaking melted the nice Pioneer license plate? Is it exhausts hit that or what? Who knows? Great big Dana in the back. Dirt Commander Centennials. All right. I'm going to throw a battery in this thing and see if she fires up. Or see if we got taken. Looks like it's got a Motorcraft 2-barrel that somebody's been through. It's an FE. Can't tell unless you open it up if it's a 360 or 390. Looks like old Balls Capone is our battery sponsor this week. Power brakes, power steering. I think these things have like a silly ram assist power steering, so a lot of people convert them to a box style. I think the highboys are front steer versus rear steer. It kind of looks like it's got electronic ignition, and it also kind of looks like it puked its guts out. So hopefully that is not foreshadowing. Let's see if the old Duraspark has got the spark. Got plenty of mouse traps, bounce sheets galore. Do we have keys? We've got keys. 62,703 miles. I don't know. Pump it, see what happens. There we go. Even idles. That's a good carb kit. All right, I guess we'll just check out his other junk while we're out here and head to town with this thing. Maybe we should check the oil and the radiator. It looks like it's got a brand new aluminum radiator in it too. What a deal. Hopefully don't lose a wheel. We got some new lug studs here and some brake hardware. They feel good. That's a plus. Where's the dipstick, Jimmy? Found it. She's on the stick. Good enough for the girls we go with. New plugs, auto light, new cap, wires. I'm sure there's a rotor in there. I can see green coolant. No flexi hoses. They don't look like they're new, but they're not a flexi hose. Belts look like they definitely need replacing. Somebody's got a newer alternator on it. Oh yeah, this thing's good and ready to go. Got the grill guard on it. Nothing but the finest. All right, since this thing is gonna work so swimmingly, let's take a look at what else he's got around here, because I know he wants to thin the herd. This is like a 79 Indy, I don't know if it's a pace truck or what. What does this say? Something Ford, Carrington, North Dakota. Reimers Ford, Carrington, North Dakota. Another buddy, the same guy who had the highboy had this one. This one's a little rustier, but the paint package is pretty sweet. And they got the cool door panels with the holder for all your speeding tickets. Oh, cool steering wheel, aftermarket cruise. Yeah, this thing's neat. Custom seat, gauge surround. I think this is a 2-wheel drive, and it's like a 351, 302 automatic. 79, so she's got the square headlights. Again, good tires. Like to see that. So if you see something on here that you're interested in, hit us up and I'll ask him if it's for sale. mortskerepair@gmail.com. This stuff is located in like central North Dakota. All right, 3/8 of a tank of fuel creeping up. Guessing that's not going to make us very far in the old FE. They're kind of, set off the mousetrap. They're kind of thirsty. Hey, there's a little tree air freshener in here. We got air fresheners at mortske.com. We got everything else you need to, including scrapers in stock now. Hit us up. Little exhaust leak. She's been sitting here a while, kind of in a hole. Probably should have checked the tire pressure. They all look like they were up. Won't die of me now. Definitely sounds like a grain truck. I'm sure there's no cracked exhaust manifold. These things are super terrible for exhaust manifold bolts. Terrible to work on. Anyway, Duff's at the groomer today, so we're out running errands while he's getting pampered. If you were wondering why he's not going for this ride with me, he would have loved to have been here, but you know, he is the face of Mortske Repair, so he's got to go get cleaned up. Spa day. Wow, this guy is in a hurry. It is planting season up here in Griggs County, so you gotta make hay while the sun's shining, I guess. 4th gear, 30 mile an hour. Feel like there's wood ticks all over me. It's gonna be a long ride home, no AC. It does have seat belts, and I'm definitely wearing them. We die like real men here on Mortske Repair. But they put all the bounce sheets in here and the air freshener, because it really makes an aromatic ambiance in the old highboy here. Other than these things are hitting me in the leg, I don't like that. These bounce sheets are floating everywhere on me. I feel like this is going to be like a 55 mile an hour ride home. I'm guessing this thing's got like 410s or 456s. I'll let you know once we get out on the highway. Temp's right in the middle. Charge is right above the middle. Oil pressure's right in the middle. It freaking idles. That's pretty good. People wave at you. Maybe it's just the North Dakota nice thing, but drive old junk, people notice. We need to find ourselves a red tailgate. Red 73 to 79 Ford tailgate, or orange, whatever this is. Sure looks red to me. Black just won't do. If you got one, or you want to own this thing, hit us up. Price and availability in the video description. mortskerepair@gmail.com. Highboys are cool, but we already got Bernie, the 73 F250 tow truck, and then we also got my crew cab ramp truck, which that thing should probably go. And then I think that's a 78. Oh yeah, 50 mile an hour. She's screaming pretty good. We also got my 71 Ford F100 4-wheel drive, so I think we're good on the 60s. We can always use more, but I'm not a 4-wheel drive guy, so yeah, we don't need this one. Somebody else should own it. And like I said, I just bought it so that I could get a 55 Plymouth station wagon, because I don't have anything like that right now. I just have a 55 Chevy Tourer Post and a 56 Chevy Tourer Post and a 60 Plymouth station wagon. So yeah, nothing like a 55 Plymouth Plaza or Dodge Plaza, whatever it is. So yeah, help me recoup some of my money and save it from rotting away in my backyard. And come drive it home, because I'm sure it'll be just fine to drive all the way across the continental U.S. or Canada or Mexico for all I care. Heck, drive it to South America. But you're going to need your gas card and some time, because I could probably push 60, but I feel like 50, 55 is where this thing wants to be. And I'm not really in a hurry, so I'm all right with it. Well, these do have the gas filler in the cab yet. The neat thing about highboys, so 67 to 72 Ford frames were narrower, and then they widened them in 73. But the highboy frame stayed narrow, so you can take the body off of a highboy like this and drop a 67 to 72 chassis or body right on this frame, and it should pretty much pull right up. I did the same thing on an F250 chassis, and the bed doesn't bolt up because it's narrower, but the cab mounts were the same up front. So basically, the only difference is the bed will bolt on one of these where it won't on a half-ton frame. Your worthless information of the day. And this thing, I don't have a 67 to 72 Ford body to put on this thing, and this body doesn't seem that bad, so I wouldn't take this body off this thing. Plus, I don't know why you would want to go through all that work to drive 50 miles an hour. This thing is god-awful slow. But it's doing a great job. Got oil pressure. She's running cool. Gives us time to look, see what's out in the trees along Highway 1 here. Looks like a nice mobile meth lab. I don't know if it's a bounder or what, but some type of camper. Ah, Woodchecks. I hate them. Made her to the big city of Hannaford. We're gonna whip in and top her off with some petrol. Oh boy, we're like at 1/8 of a tank, so quarter tank. Yeah, it's not good on gas. All right, we got about 16 gallons of gas in her. Pinion seal is leaking on the rear end, so probably gonna want to address that. Other than that, seems like she's going good. Also, your worthless information of the day. The fuel pumps in Hannaford, North Dakota shut off at $50. 50. So even on this 16 or 18 gallon tank, it clicks off once at $3.49 a gallon. So I can't imagine going through there and buying diesel fuel at probably more than that, and trying to put 50 gallons in one of my tow pigs. Yeah. So Hannaford, bump up your card troll to, you know, like let's make it an even 100. $50 don't go very far anymore. I'm gonna wear out my card swiping it. Fuel gauge works. All right. Hopefully no updates for a while. Just gonna enjoy the North Dakota May scenery and the nice exhaust leak. And the AM radio, believe it or not, does work. It's got the high output heater. We're gonna leave that on cool because we don't want the mouse house coming out of the heater box. And it's probably really loud on your end. See you in a bit. This thing is working good. Drove about 6 miles too far south. We're gonna go to the big city of Jokes, go to Northside Treats and Eats. I'm a sucker for ice cream. And yeah, when in Rome, take the big highboy, get yourself some ice cream. Ooh, runs good. That ice cream was pretty good. Pretty good. Had myself a Heath Twister, I think that's what they call it here. Anyway, not bad. Not bad at all if you're ever in Jokes, North Dakota. Go swing into the north side Treats and Eats. I think they're only open during the summertime, like most of these ice cream places. But anyway, back on the road. Seems pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. about 25 miles to make her back to the old ranch. She's not a real smooth ride, I'll tell you that much. But it does have a pretty decent seat. Needs some new window felts. I did have the window up for a bit. Got a little cold in here. I don't know what the temperature is though. It's getting warm though. We were loading some cars earlier today, and yeah, summer is here, and the wood ticks are letting me know. I have to have Duff check me for ticks when I get home. All right. See you when we get back. Well, we made her back to the ranch. Half tank of fuel. That's sitting vertical. Temp sitting vertical. Alternator sitting vertical. Oil pressure's a little off to the low side, but as soon as you get her revved up a bit, she's right in the middle as well. A little high output heater. Look at this.
Like Trump and Bergen.
Radio works. We gotta move that Kenwood speaker up onto the dash. Speaking of that, she's got a nice dash pad. I think we could clean these up. I don't know, you could clean that up. She's a little crispy and shrunk up, but I'm sure you can buy a new one. Must have had a CB in her at one time. I got some screw holes in the dash. Alrighty. The dome light even works. Sliding rear window. Whew. No gun rack though. That's a surprise. I didn't even see it. She's got running boards on it. They could sit a little bit lower. They got them sucked up pretty high and tight to the cab. You did good, old highboy. I wonder if that painted bump out. A little hooey there. I don't love the grill guard, but that's easy enough to take off. Oh yeah, she got some battle scars. Oofed a few on the roof. If you're fixing to pick up, this wouldn't be the one to do, I wouldn't think, but I think just for a beater like this, he must have painted these wheels. The Centennial mud terrains. We didn't even look in the toolbox. Whew! Another mouse trap. Screwdriver. Pittsburgh Allen wrenches. Coolant. Tape measure. Hood pins. Uh-oh. I noticed the hood does dance a little bit. The old tractor supply. It's pretty good. Look at that tiny little freaking 2-inch exhaust pipe. Is it single? Or is it duals? It's gotta have duals. You gotta have duals on a highboy, right? Nope, definitely singles. Look at what we got going on back here. Oh boy. Oil on everything. So, is our breather plugged? Nope, doesn't look like it's plugged. Might want to check it though. Let's see what's going on there. I noticed that pinion was leaking about 5 miles in, so hopefully we didn't smoke all the fluid out of there. But it looks like he's got new park brake cables, new brake lines, new brake hoses, new brake drums, new wheel cylinders. Oh, we got us a deal here. He could have painted those new drums. Freaking cheapskate. Not new shocks. Yep, definitely single exhaust. Alright, so I guess we'll add that to the list. Maybe I'll crawl underneath and see what else is leaking. Alright, we got the highboy out on our outdoor pressure washing / outdoor activity lift. We're gonna pressure wash around this pinion seal. Oh, I think it's missing the guard. That doesn't help the situation. You can even read the CR part number. There should be like a tin shield around this that keeps dirt and debris and mainly like baling twine and grass from getting wrapped in there, but we'll get her cleaned up. But it got oil all over everything. Look at that, new park brake cables. We might be able to use a park brake in this. Just random zip ties hanging out. And then I did notice a drip under the transmission, so we might have to clean that up a bit. See what's going on there. Usually them side covers or PTO covers don't leak. Oh, but it's running all the way down the back of the engine too, so we got some oil leaks to take care of. But first we're gonna pressure wash all this crap out of there. A little loose in the splines on the front drive shaft. That's the big thing with these highboys, is the divorced transfer case. You get your regular 4-speed transmission, and then a drive shaft going back to our transfer case. So you got 3 drive shafts instead of 2 on a 4-wheel drive. This is the closed knuckle version front end. I don't know if they made different ones or not, but I'm guessing so. And that's a little grimy. We could probably clean that up. And here's part of that Ram Assist power steering setup. And then they got some of it over here as well. And that's not leaking, and it's working, so we're just gonna leave it. We are gonna do some pressure washing. Oh, it's just grimy. All right, we'll get her cleaned up, get some parts coming, start throwing them at it. Good tires though. Well, since we got it, let's look. Oh yeah, she looks like somebody bought floor pans and just set them over the top of the old floor pans. That one's been there a while on the driver's side. It's not terrible, but it definitely needs some floor work. At least they cut the old stuff out, kind of. And the rest of it's so greasy it can't rust out. And then you got this big old shift linkage going back. Oh, she's a little sloppy to your divorce transfer case. That's one thing that I don't like about these. And I don't know why guys are so fond of these, other than you can drop literally any 2-wheel drive motor and transmission in front of them and still have a 4-wheel drive. Just a stack of leaf springs. I don't know what the duct tape's for. Probably to hold this brake line. Oh yeah. Yep, that's definitely how you hold a brake line. A whole bunch of duct tape. And then loop your wire harness around it. Real classy. Oh, that might be why. Sounds like a grain truck. We should probably look into some exhaust work. Muffler at a minimum. Oh, she is toasty.
Toasty.
No wonder I was getting so sleepy from the carbon monoxides on the way home. Well, we're out in the cab corner. Nothing too crazy. Doing a fine job there. Getting in there real nice and deep like. Oh yeah, we got to show him. He forgot his Crocs, so we went to the Dollar General, and he was calling them Drock. Did you paint your toenails?
Oh, basically did.
Let's see that again.
They gotta get touched up.
Oh, that's real pretty.
It ain't pink. I was like, blue's okay.
Oh man, you're gonna have to bathe this week. Got her nice and clean. Mojo's he's rolling up the sleeves. He's gonna put the finishing touches on.
I got a 6'2" over here that needs.
Yeah, you're already wet. You might as well. Oh, anyway, so so the Crocs we were trying to we're figuring out. So instead of Crocs, they got them with the DG. They're Docs, but they're not Doc Martens. They're Doc Generals.
So they're still fancy.
They're Doc Generals.
And they're the 4-wheel drive model too.
Oh, yeah, we could really throw them in. I'm only in 2-wheel drive.
I can't believe you got blue toenail. I see why you slipped it back in there real quick.
It's not quick enough.
All right.
Don't worry. I'll tell the editor to cut that out.
Oh, I know a guy. The old power steering up there's got a little bit, but these closed knuckles were just caked. They came out pretty good. The old pressure washer earning its keep around here. Got the concrete pretty dirtied up. Yeah, this came out way good. I think you found your calling in life, Chin.
Yeah? Been already.
Editing and pressure washing. Chin Strap Services for all your editing and pressure washing needs. Oh yeah? Yeah, that tranny was in bell housing was just caked. Oh yeah.
Sandwich.
Real good. All right, I'm gonna go back to sitting in my recliner, drinking sandwiches. You're a lot of help. Look at him, just loving life. Drenched from head to toes. We'll have to get him a fresh shirt to wear home so he doesn't have to go home all wet. We'll see if we can find one at mortske.com to send him. Can't be having him going home in a wet shirt. Had to do a little dumpster diving, but I think we found him a shirt. Yeah, that's all these things are good for. Shop rags. Must be misprints or something. I don't even know who that guy is. It'll work though, Duff, huh? It's dry. Beggars can't be choosers. Looks pretty good under here, huh, Duff? All right, let's get this rear U-joint taken loose so we can get this yoke off so that we can put a pinion seal in it. So, 1/2-inch wrench, a little hammer, pry bar, get all that stuff loose. Oh my word. Okay, we're gonna be putting a U-joint in there as well. These manual transmission pickups are hard on U-joints. How bad is this one? Is like new. Why did somebody put that one in and not the front one or the rear one? A little loose on that pinion and she's leaking a bit. It's so weird that they rubber mount these. I guess whatever, we could probably snug them up a bit too. Definitely could use some snug in there, I think. I don't know, maybe? I feel like that shouldn't wobble that much. Those joints look new as well. Little play in that one, not bad though. And then we gotta figure out what the French was leaking up here and on the engine, because she was a greasy, grimy gopher gut.
Greasy, grimy gopher guts.
I just need to stop crawling around under this thing, just finding more stuff. All right, let's get this knocked out first. I suppose we gotta take the whole shaft out so that we can put a joint in. Just noticed this, the old Mopar Madman apparently didn't have any spacers, so he just stacked up a whole bunch of nuts on this park brake cable. Nice. Doesn't really hold it in the middle there. I feel like there's supposed to be something to hold it centered in there, but hey, what do I know? Fancy. Hopefully he's got some extra nuts around. Oh, I should just be able to pop this son of a biscuit out of there, right? There goes the needles. Not like we needed those. Anyway. Look at how loose this cap is. Oh, there isn't a single needle even in this one. Oh, funny this thing didn't vibrate more than it did. Oh, and I just dropped the front cap. Son of a biscuit. But every single needle stayed in there. I better go buy a lottery ticket. Alright, let's do the pinion seal first. Because we know it needs everything, but what we need is a hammer. But all we have is a ratchet. So when all you have is a ratchet is a hammer. Tell you what, these Screwed by Mortske repair screwdrivers, get yours at mortske.com. They're so handy for cleaning out grease. They're handy for getting your lock washers out the back of your U-bolt. Just an all-purpose tool. Plus they got the clip on there so you can keep it in your pocket. Stylish. Just the total package. Like Duff. Alright, I'm gonna go look for a ginormous socket to fit that. Alright, impact gonna fit? Of course not. We need a chrome socket. Where the French are we gonna find an 1 3/8 chrome socket? Dug through my stash, found an 1 5/16 Thorson. Guess what fits? That 1 3/8 wasn't in there. Lucky. Look at these Thorsons. These things are good. MFD USA, manufactured in USA. Right, them chrome USA sockets love the impact. Now we go get our hammering device, knock that yoke off. Is there a washer in there? Can't tell. Yep, definitely a washer. Let's get that out of there first. Look at that screwdriver, freaking handy. Definitely not made in USA though. Now we find out how full it is. Oh, why does gear oil stink so bad? Well, our yoke ain't too pitted up, or grooved up I should say, but a little bit. If I had a speedy sleeve, I would install it. But you know what? I don't. She's an old CR 18891. It's even marked outside, and it's marked US of A. Double check to make our national 9316 seal is going to be the right size. It appears as though it is. It already fits on the yoke. This thing's gonna fit in there, something like this. Should be fine. Should. This is a weird seal. This seal, not so weird. It leaks though. Guessing it goes in that way. It's not labeled outside. Ooh, this one's made in USA even. All the USA action as I'm hitting it with my Pittsburgh Chinese, Taiwanese Harbor Freight hammer. Slide that back on there. Put our washer on there. Tap her on a bit more. Put that on there and give her a few ugga-duggas so she don't come loose. You don't want to over torque it though. Don't ask me how I know. Now I'm gonna go, oh my gosh, look at how grooved that thing is. She's real bad. This side just is wiped out. So I'm gonna go use my cross-reference chart, see if I can figure out what this was, because the Rock Auto gives us several options. I tell you what, these ball joint changing tools are life-changing in the universal swapping out world. So easy a caveman could do it.
So easy to use, a caveman could do it.
Or screw it up. Either way. I say that. Now this one doesn't want to cooperate. What is your problem? Huh? We'll put her in the vise. Pop that cap off quick. That's what you get for talking nice about your equipment. I wonder if we can push it the other way without screwing anything up. That'd be my luck. Screw up the yoke on this drive shaft. Alright, we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Now I'm guessing we can just tap them through, right? Right? Hot needles. Alright, we got the tool. Might as well use it. Now I gotta go see if I got the right universal joint. You cool off a bit. Good old Ford uses a combination joint, or bastard joint as I like to call them. Same size caps, 1 16" all the way around, but instead of 3 1/4 this way, it's 3 5/8 over here. This is a USA made, new old stock Neapco 10134. Crosses over to a 353 Moog, because that's what I use, or precision. So let's slide this thing in there, try to line our grease zerks up, and we'll be back on the road. Definitely not without any difficulty, but we got our 353 U-joint in there. The old combination's ready to go back in the Ford for many, many miles of trouble-free service. Topped off the diff and the transfer case and the front diff here. Look at this. Here's the code D3TA, so that's a 73 code, so I don't know if that was when this rear end was built or that's just the part number, but it says 4.09. So that means this hot rod's got some 410 gears in it. All right, I'm gonna take the old Milwaukee grease gun, service this thing up, set her down, and then continue checking for leaks after we drive it a bit. Be a nice day to take her out for a rip. Ooh, I gotta measure those muffler inlets and outlets so I can get one of them coming too. Thanks for the help servicing that up, Duff. Got all our U-joints greased except for this one because somebody put the Zerk facing forward. Not me. So that one's never going to be greased until it gets replaced. But I did notice these things got these closed joints up here, knuckles on the front end. And they're greasable. Not greasable. They got grease in them. They got oil in them. They got 80-90 in them. And they're low. So we're going to top those off on the old closed knuckle 44 with some 80-90. And the wind's coming up. So hopefully we don't spill oil all over. Because when the wind catches the 80-90, it just kind of sends it all over our nice concrete. Let's be honest, this concrete isn't nice anymore. You don't mind it? Yeah. It's better than the gravel. All right, let's get this wrapped up and get her off the lift.
I don't know.
What did you just sell me?
I sold you this dreamy piece of machinery.
Today, the Duff dog, who is covered in deer fecal matter, and I are gonna try driving this 1979 Ford Indy, apparently, home. What is it? 2 hours? 100 miles?
Yeah.
Yep. It's got good tires, allegedly has brakes, cruise control. We're gonna check the wipers because it's a little blue. He wanted too much money for this one. He's got a fresh 390, but he did throw in a flaming chicken hood and an air grabber or scoop or something. It's got a roll bar. How do we turn the wipers on? Probably gotta have the key on. No, all the way to the left is the lights. Woo!
And new blades.
Fresh blades?
New blades. Only the best.
Delay? No way! This thing's got delay wipers!
Yeah, so I didn't know this, but if you turn them all the way to the left,
That's the delay.
and I didn't know it.
Why would that Ford, like don't make it first click and then slow and then...
That was when you don't figure out how it's supposed to work. It's really
Does the horn work?
when you turn it
Yep. This thing's pretty good. Pretty good. I don't even want it, so hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com. Price and availability in the video description. We just bought it for the hood. We'll show you more when it breaks down, because it will. Show me your tail panel.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
All right,
They suck a little less blood, but
let's do this. Oh, new mirrors, he says. If you get anywhere close to me with that fecal matter, we're gonna have words. Ooh, FM radio. He says it's got aftermarket cruise that works. Ooh, we don't have a clutch. Oh, lights right up. I'm guessing the fuel gauge either doesn't work or, yeah. Is that concerning? It's interiors. This is cool. All right, let's go get some gas. 32,495 miles. He said the fuel gauge doesn't work. Use the front tank. That's right, Duff. 2 tanks. He said the exhaust is loud. He's correct. He said it's 150 miles that he's put on it, and we put 13.5 gallons in it. So, yeah, you do the math. I'm saying that that's like 11.1 miles a gallon. Did I guess right? Probably not. All right, let's do this. Go to Hannaford, hit up the bowling alley, see if they got lunch for us. Ooh, this thing, she got some pep to her. Speedo works, oil gauge works, battery apparently isn't charging. Oh yeah, we need a battery sponsor. We gotta take his back. Temp gauge apparently doesn't work. What's this? It's like the 3rd Mustang we've seen today. Oh, followed by 2 more Mustangs. Coupe, late model. Yeah, this thing's kind of loud, huh, Duff? Ooh, 3-point seat belts. This thing is plush. A little bit of wind noise. All right. Hopefully we are checking in a couple hours and we get home. We'll see if Mr. Clean can keep up in White Lightning. We went and looked at some cars that he had lined up from a family estate deal, so stay tuned. Hopefully we can make a deal on them. He's gonna fall in love with White Lightning and try to buy it off me. Too bad it's not for sale. Right, Duff? Can't sell White Lightning. Ooh. Radio work? Dang right! Can't wait to try this cruise out. Resume, set, excel, set, coast. Ooh, the whole knob slides though. You need to clamp that better. I thought this cruise worked. Off, on, resume, excel, set to on. Ah! this cruise is definitely not working. False advertisement, I want my money back. Over at the Hannaford Bowling Alley, getting a little rain. Things are going good. Cruise is working. Should you go and grab a burger, Duff? I know they probably don't segregate, but they're probably not going to let you in. Let's see what Mr. Clean says, if he's ready for lunch or not. The old bowling alley. $9.50 for a hot beef combo. Even came with birthday cake. Can't beat that. Support your local diners, right, Duff? Even if they don't let you in. All right, blue skies ahead. Still sprinkling a little bit, but could be a lot worse. We got wipers, so there's that. So silly part about these wipers is you got off and you turn it to the right and it's low, which is that, and then you got high. But if you turn it to the left, back to off, turn it one more to the left, and then you get the delays. How silly is that, Ford? I mean, I'm glad we got them, but I would never know. I probably owned Ford pickups that had the delays that I never even knew because of that. Oh, that exhaust is terrible, Duff. Need to fix that. Put that on the list after giving you a bath and pulling wood ticks off when we get home. Order exhaust. And a window seal. She's a little noisy. Ooh, she's got the cab light. High, low, and off for the cab light. Except for the KC daylighters on the roll bar. Who knows? What do you think, pal? This thing pretty good? Almost home. All right, I think it had 495 and we're at 610. So what's that? 115 miles. So let's put gas in, see what we got for economy, but just set the old cruise at 70 and let her rip. Stereo ain't quite loud enough with the wind noise. Maybe we should get some fuzzies and put in the window seals. And this thing would be pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's go inside, get you cleaned up, because you're disgusting. Duff. That's a baby bunny in your mouth, isn't it? I mean, you're a hunting dog, but let's go for the big bunnies, not the baby bunnies. But I guess it's got 4 lucky feet on it, one of which is hanging out of your mouth. I mean, if you're proud of it, I'm proud of you too. Ugh. Anywho, Mopar Madman said, "Don't laugh at my exhaust." He's clearly not proud of his exhaust like Duff is of his new friend. R.I.P. Peter Cottontail. But let's take a look at the bottom side of this thing. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, it's got the factory Ford license plate lights. One's rusty, one's not. Huh, interesting. Somebody stole our trailer wiring though. Reimers Ford, Carrington, North Dakota. Ooh, they're matching. We need some Rough Rider country mud flaps. North Dakota mud flaps. So, looks like it was a factory dual exhaust pickup. You can tell by the way that it is. Hangers on each side. Dual tanks. We're just using the fronts. I'd like to have them both working, because why not if you got them. Looks like the spare tire bracket is still here. Good old Ford 8-inch. Hey, it's still got the breather tube intact. That's nice. White walls in, or blue walls. Looks like it's got new wheel cylinders on each side. I think he said he did rear brakes on this one. Looks like he even did drums, maybe? Are those new drums? Rusty new drums? Nah, those are old rusty drums. Park brake cables ain't cut yet. What a deal. What a deal. Looks like an aftermarket tow bumper. I think these things came with black sport bumpers you could get them with. There was another bumper option. I can't remember what it is. Did a little reading last night on the Indy option. Well, it wasn't last night. It was a few nights ago. I'm guessing these shocks are aftermarket. Seems how they're white, but maybe they're factory. There's our selector valve for the tank. Light duty leaf springs, it appears. 275 gear ratio. That's what the Marty report said. I'll have to check out the Marty report. Let's see what else is on there. These springs holding the park brake cables up must be factory. Maybe not. They're not the same spring. I don't know. But whoever did it did a nice job. Whoever did the exhaust, not so nice. Looks like we got a glass pack and we slid a big old trucker exhaust stack over the body and dump it out sideways. You can see the exhaust right inside of there. Let's get in there with the old Cyclops. This thing sounds terrible, absolutely terrible. He said you should have heard it before. So we're gonna get an appointment with Boom Tube and get that fixed, because the rest of the exhaust is in good shape, but this is horrendous. And what's with Mopar Man? What's with the doubling down of the clamps? And then the clamps don't match. Oh my gosh, kids these days. He said the floorboards have been patched, and he didn't even consider it a patch. So it's a saddle tank on this side, and then the rear one's just across the frame rails. Got the running boards with lights in them even. Oh yeah, I'm sure those don't work. I can't believe the brackets will even hold those things up when my lard butt stands on it. And he did say, somebody in Grand Forks, I think, put a fresh tranny in it. So yeah, good to go here. I'm guessing that's why they parked it, was the transmission. Cute little C4. Look at that tiny little pan. Makes my hand look big. These things are miserable to pull out. I'm sure you got to take this cross member out, which holds these suspension arms. Where's this cab floor rust he's talking about? Oh, looks pretty good to me. Maybe that's the other pickup we got from him. Oh, it must be over here. No, that's undercoating. A little dirt there. These floors look pretty nice. Cab mounts, cab supports. I don't know what he's talking about. I did get that highboy from him too, so it must have been the highboy. I know those aren't that nice. Speaking of not nice, you should probably use a butt connector, or at least put some tape over your electrical connections. Same white shocks up front. I like buying stuff from Mopar Madman because you know it was greased. He's all about grease and things. You know what else is greased? That 302. We're gonna have to pressure wash that thing because that is a dirt ball. Looks like she's got a Rayman starter. What's that? Pro Star? Aerostar? Never even heard of it. Manufactured by Aero Automotive Industries Incorporated. So yeah, new tires. These aren't the factory wheels that would have come on this thing. There was a couple different options for those. They're similar, but they're not the correct wheels. Looks like somebody did a fuel pump not too long ago. He put this radiator in it, and sure enough, it will hardly come off the cold mark. This thing works good. 150 bucks. Pretty nice. I think he did put a newer lower radiator hose on it. It definitely needs some belts, so we should address that. Power steering works good. Got a Fleet Guard oil filter. He's always good about changing oil. Looks like it's got a new fuel hose on it. Ooh, they even put the old constant tension clamp back on it. Sway bar end links. They're a little chewy. That's why I don't like these Fords, because you can't just put a different coil spring in it and lower them or cut the coil, because the way that these, what do they call them? Not the twin traction beam. The twin I-beam. So it's just going to pivot on that spot, and then it screws up your caster and camber, I would imagine, but mainly your camber. So you can get these dream beams, they call them, where basically they stretch it in here, or drop beams, but they don't drop them enough for me. I don't love them that much. So yeah, factory disc brakes. I think all the dent sides two-wheel drives had these. Yeah, it stops good. Looks like it's got some old hoses and old calipers and all that, but they work good, so we're just gonna leave it. Yeah, looks pretty good under here. Body mounts are a little bit cracked out, but to be expected when you're 45 years old. Cool. Other than the exhaust, looks pretty good under here, and then we'll play around with that tank, put some hoses on it. Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do, slow this thing on the rollback. We're gonna run her to Boom Tubes, get some exhaust on it, because this exhaust is terrible. Chin doesn't even like driving it because it's a Ford and the exhaust is terrible. But we'll get that doctored up, and then maybe Chin will fall in love with it. Maybe we'll win him over to the dark side. We're up to your regular schedule shenanigan to bring you this week's Mortske Minute, brought to you by mortske.com. Go check out mortske.com for all your Mortske swag. We got t-shirts, we got ball caps, we got banners, we got magnetic koozies, we got super scrapers. So this week's Mortske Minute, we're gonna bring you a little bit of information on the Ford Indy Pace Truck, also known as the Speedway Package, and what you got with said Speedway Package. So the Speedway Package was offered on all 1979 Ford pickups, but there were some stipulations. They had to be regular cab, they had to be silver metallic, and they had to be Ranger trim package. So you could get an F100 two-wheel drive, F150, F250, all two-wheel drives, or you could get four-wheel drives, F150, F250, or F350. But they had to be a Ranger trim level, silver metallic, regular cab. So what was the Speedway Package? Well, for a span of 11 years, GM had basically exclusivity to the rights to be the official pace car and pace truck of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So for 1979, Ford got it with the Mustang. Yeah, that's right. Finally, the old Fox body came around, and so Ford piggybacked that over and onto the pickup trucks as well. And this trim package, well, that's exactly what it was. It was a trim package. It was basically their freewheeling package, which had been around for a little while. And that freewheeling package was basically a decal package and interior trim package. But also with the decals, you got a grill, the headlights surrounding the bumper were all blacked out, along with the mirrors. You got an orange tailgate pan. You got the GT roll bar in black in the back. You got the GT steering wheel. And you also got the official Pace Truck letters that were shipped with the truck. They were not installed. Case in point, this truck, they never got installed. They're probably on somebody's beer fridge in their basement that was the detail boy in 1979 at the Ford dealership. So you got the freewheel and interior package, which was black vinyl with silver inserts and red piping. Yeah. That's what really ties the interior together. Your standard Ranger XLT wood trim was replaced with bright red trim and black glove box. The bright wheel lip moldings that would usually be on a Ranger XLT and the body moldings on the side, those were also deleted. You couldn't get those with the Speedway package. And along with that, you couldn't get hubcaps either. So if you couldn't get hubcaps, what did you get? Well, in the 5-lug half-ton two-wheel drive version, you could only get the 10-hole forged aluminum wheels, which this truck does not have, unfortunately. But that was the only option you could get on the two-wheel drives. But what else came with those 10-hole forged wheels? White letters. Yeah, that's right. You got to have the white letters if you got yourself a race truck. So most of these trucks of this vintage were shipped without rear bumpers, but if you bought an Indy Pace truck or the Speedway package, you had to get a rear bumper. So you could get a silver step bumper or you could get a black contoured bumper. I'm not sure what this pickup came with because it's not on there anymore. They replaced it with a tow bumper, so we may never know. Also, all these trucks had dual tanks. Case in point, the truck that we have here. Ford suggested a lot of other options like power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, AM, FM radio, and stuff like that. The dealer did not have to take those, CB radio, but they could pick and choose. Usually these trucks were pretty well loaded up. You could get any engine that you wanted. Most common was the 302 as shown here, but a lot of these pickups actually were factory equipped with the 462 barrel. And a little known fact, and I don't know that you can even find one or if one exists, but there apparently was an option. You could get yourself an F350 Speedway package tow truck with an Ernest Holmes wrecker bed and tow boom on the back. How sweet would that be parked next to Bernie? So that wraps it up for the 1979 Ford Speedway package, or Indy Pace truck, if you will. Next, we're going to talk about the highboy option. What is a highboy option? What is a highboy package? Is it a package? Is it a thing? Is it not a real thing? Well, kind of. It's not really a thing, but it is kind of a thing. So in the dent sides that we have, 73 to 79, or the bump side, which is 67 to 72, they offered four-wheel drive in the F250s. That was kind of when Ford went to their own F250. Holy buckets, the rally's going on. Somebody's got their radio cranked on their Harley Davidsons. But anyway, an F250 four-wheel drive with a divorce transfer case, closed knuckle, Dana 44 front is basically what your highboy is. The divorce transfer case is kind of your dead giveaway, and 8-lug wheels. If you got a divorce transfer case and it's an earlier pickup and it's got 5-lug wheels, it's not a highboy. So 67 to mid 1977. We say that because in 19 late 1977 or 78, 79, and then went to them silly square headlights. The transfer case was no longer divorced. It was married to the back of the transmission, and there's some conversations as to the pickups needed to sit higher to have that divorce transfer case, so they had a special cross member which raised the pickup up, which allowed clearance for the divorce transfer case, and that's why they call these things highboys, because they sat a little bit higher. And I just found out through this research that some folks call the later pickups, or the pickups that weren't highboys, they call them low boys. So there's some worthless information for you. If you go into your Ford dealer and if you don't have an old timer and you say you need parts for your 75 Ford highboy, they're probably going to look at you funny, unless it's an old boy, because it really wasn't a Ford thing. It was just kind of something that came about from folks in the field like you guys and us. So some other interesting facts about the F250 is the frame on the 75 is the same width as the 67 to 72s on a highboy, but F250 two-wheel drive or an F100 or F150, they have wider frames. So you can actually take a 67 to 72 body and bolt it right on a highboy chassis, but you cannot take a two-wheel drive body and bolt it right onto the highboy chassis of the same vintage, because the frame width is different. Also, because that frame width, the auxiliary tanks do not work on these pickups, so the hole is plugged on this pickup. I don't know if that's the way it was from the factory, but all these pickups either had to have an auxiliary tank in the bed or jerry cans, or as is shown in this pickup, they have the seat tank or the saddle tank that sits behind the seat that will probably kill you if you get into an accident, but you're probably just fine. So anyway, long story short, the highboy pickups had the fuel tank behind the seat, which pretty much all 67 to 72 Ford pickups had, but it was an option to have it in the a saddle tank or down by the frame rail as well, but not on a highboy because of the frame rail width. You basically had two engine options. You had the 360 V8 as we have, or the amazing 306 inline. Some of the early 67s, it sounds like you could get a 352. And then in 77, early 77, kind of the weird stuff, you could get a 351 or a 400M modified, which was the first year that they offered that. And then you could also get disc brakes on your Dana 44 and open knuckle on the early 77s as well. So 77s had some weird stuff going on, and then they transitioned into the low boys. So there you have it, everything that you never wanted to know about 1979 Ford Speedway packages and 1967 through 1977.5 Ford highboys. Now back to your regularly scheduled shenanigans. All right, we got some parts showed up. We got ourselves a tailpipe and a muffler so that this thing doesn't sound like a grain truck anymore. The tailpipe on this thing doesn't look that bad, but they're pretty cheap. Sometimes they fit, sometimes they don't. Most of the time they don't, but we'll give her a whirl. You can see this one's pretty good stuff yet. It was a nice heavy wall pipe. She looks rusty, but usually the lowest spots where they rot out, or they get backed into a snowbank and wrapped around right there. And this one looks pretty good shape. Muffler on the other hand, not so much. She's all rotted through. Rusty there, rusty there, and most importantly, she's all blown out there. So let's put a little lube on these clamps and we'll see if we can't get this thing split apart. We just got to try to save everything from here forward, because we don't have that, and we don't have an exhaust machine. Hit us up if you got an exhaust bender you want to get rid of affordable. Seems like they're going between $5 and $7 grand for used ones around here, and that's not affordable to me. So we're gonna keep looking. One day we'll get one. Mainly I want to use them for expanding pipe, just straight chunks of pipe. Like this piece, for example. If we had an expander, we could make that. Then we could just cut it off, but we don't have one. Someday. It's on the bucket list. If anybody wants to be a exhaust bender, hit us up. If you work for Ben Pack, it'd be even better. Or Huth, I think, is one of them. Ben Pearson's another one. We've looked at a lot of them. A lot of ways to skin a cat. Never skun a cat, but mess with exhaust a lot, and usually the best thing to do is start from scratch. But since we got to try to save this, we can't just cut everything out of here like we do with park brakes. So what I'm going to try to do is try to just cut through the muffler portion here, just until we touch this pipe, and then we'll get in there with an air hammer, peel it open like a tuna can, because I've never probably opened a tuna can in my life either, but I would imagine that's how one would do it. And if we cut too far, we just weld rust the exhaust, which is another favorite pastime of mine. Be sure to comment down below your favorite way of splitting old rusty exhaust pipe away from one another and salvaging it in the end. Get the old air peeler out here. Oh, it's sliding right off. Dang, that pipe was all the way in there. I'm not sure this wrong auto is it a Walker 46326 or the Quiet Flow 21151 made in America right there. Not sure these are right, so we'll try not to damage the tailpipe or anything. Take it all off very gently. You always want your new muffler to sound like a maraca. Dun, 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 dun. Now if we had a silly Okie to dance for us, we'd really have ourselves a YouTube channel. At least they had it installed the right way. Starts at A, ends at B. But she was pretty chooched up. Ooh, this one looks way crappier welded. It looks more robust. It's not doesn't have the crimped on ends, it's welded, which I think means better. They're not good looking welds. Inlet. They don't label the outlet. Alright, let's throw her on there. A little Zeppelin, maybe that'll slide it on there if you lube your tailpipe before assembly. Wait, what? Come on, direct fit. Well, it would probably go if it wasn't all bent to crap, so might have to do a little body by Mortske. Find our best body hammer. Professional. Ribbed for all your exhaust pleasuring. Can you get canceled from YouTube? Oh yeah, I'm sure you can. Oh yeah. Can I get a oh yeah?
I got a oh yeah.
I don't know how deep it's got to be. It's already pretty deep, and it was a lot deeper than that. Let's slide the tailpipe on, see how that goes. All right. I think this slides. Oh no. Ah, son of a. Well, this is why we need a pipe expander. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
So, we got a real tight tailpipe, and it needs to be flared out to go into the muffler here. So if we had that exhaust machine, exhaust bender, tubing bender, exhaust expander, they usually have an expander attachment. We could flare that up, fit in there. You know, flared out tailpipe. So now we either got to run to boom tubes, or we put the old rusty tailpipe on there, because I do believe this one is expanded. Definitely. I'm doing a little measuring. I'll let you know. I'm not going to video me measuring, because it's not good how I do it. Just kidding. I use a micrometer. Yeah. Real precise. Not a tape measure. We're experts around here. Self-proclaimed. All right, that original tailpipe would work, but then this one's just going to sit around here and rot away. Boom tube said he's around. It's just about 5:30, so we're going to have to pay him time and a half. But let's run over there, get it done, see if we can't get back here in less than an hour, or your money back. You ready to punch back in and get to work, or what?
Yeah.
Oh, the sign even says closed. Son of a biscuit. All right, there we go. Boom tube's the man. We're gonna buy this on his auction when he tips over someday. Nobody come bid us up.
When the bat bites me.
when you get the COVID from the bat, you're not supposed to eat them. All right, we better get back to work. All right, we made it back from Boom Tube. Oh yeah, lowered pickups. Can't do any work. Had to drive a bunch of gravel. Go out to Boom Tubes, and we hauled things. Huge loads. So lowered pickups matter. Gave Boom Tube 20 bucks for his time because that's an expensive machine. And at 6:30, so we escaped beer 30. Now back to work. Inlet. Which side was up? Which side was down? This must have been down. She's an offset. It's not straight through the center. There we go. So I think we should have checked to see if it fit before we flared the end. Not like we could send it back or it was going to fit anything else, but it's a little off. I think it'll work. I'll show you. A little off. Aren't we all? I guess speak for yourself. I'll speak for myself. I'm off. So you can see this clamp here. Should have clamped about right here on the previous tailpipe. As you can see right there. But I think if we rotate that muffler over, that'll maybe get it over there. We'll see. The right thing to do would have probably been to lay it next to this one and see what we got. What's that going to tell us? Too late for that. So if we twist, oh, did it just fall into place? Nope, just fell though. I think we got to slide everything ahead. Yeah, because our hoo-ha isn't in the right spot. You don't want your hoo-ha in the wrong spot. The axle should be in the center of this hump. My lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
My hump, my lovely lady hump.
So you remember how I said this thing was slid way too far in the muffler? Well, I don't have it slid in as far as it was before, but it's still already too far. It was slid about another 2 inches further. So I think what I'm going to do is take this off, set the tailpipe in place, and then set the muffler in place, and then we'll trim this extension off, because I feel like this extension was not there from the factory from Ford. I feel like they would have made it all in one pipe. Never mind, Ford did silly things. This is definitely factory. So they could use the same one on a short bed as a long bed. I bet it's 2 feet longer. Who knows? Or whatever the wheelbase difference between a short bed and a long bed is. One day we'll learn to leave it to the professionals and stop buying exhaust kits. But we're cheap. I feel like this tailpipe was like less than 50 bucks shipped. And yeah, I think the cheapest exhaust I've ever got at Boom Tubes was like 400 bucks. So yeah, I think we're still money ahead. Well, that might actually be the right diameter. Lucky. So we kind of got that tailpipe where we want it. You don't want it aiming uphill. You want it running downhill. So any water, condensation, whatnot is going to run out. And there's a little bit of adjustability. And then the bump stop should be lined up with the center of the rear end. And so the center of this dip, the hoo-ha, is right about where that sticker is. So we line that up with the bump stop. So that should be good. Oh yeah. So we got to be right in there. We're like a solid 6 inches. Too long. Story of my life. Wait, what? We'll leave her a little long. Cut her off. See how that goes. Good news is, this is just a regular piece of pipe. So if we have to have Boom Tube make one, we can. All right, see how she fits with a shorter tailpipe. It's not a shorter tailpipe. All right, we need to loosen that one up. Oh, maybe not. Here goes nothing. Oh, can't have that spun that direction. All for cheese and rice. This is exhausting. Dad jokes are the best. I think there's some guy named Jeff. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Anyway, comments a dad joke every week. It's pretty great. If people wouldn't comment dumb stuff, we could use his and pin it, but no, somebody's got to say something dumb to get pinned. Cool! It's kind of in place. Now I'm going to do a bunch of jockeying and jiving and try to get her to fit. So this bracket was originally right here going through that bolt, and then they had an angle bent here, but it was sitting up too high. And in order to get it low enough, I don't know if we're going to have enough holes in this bracket, but we'll go put a bend in it and we'll see. Also, try to have them going straight, vertical. Otherwise, if it's at an angle like that, it's going to want to pull your pipe that way, and you don't want to be pulling your pipe, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, we could cut this off, and I wonder if we could drill a hole in that cross member and then bolt it right there. That's probably our best bet. You know what? I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go cut this off in the iron worker, and we'll put it up there and mark it, and hopefully we can get a nut on there. Dang it, that old iron worker is a handy piece of equipment. Alright, cut her short enough, or we got to go back for another run? I think we're going to go back for one more. How about now? Perfect. Alright, can we do the old holder with the wrench trick? Oh yeah, that's gonna be money right there. That's why I like these whiz nuts. Once you get it started, you just ram her home with the old impact. Good to go. We'll put our clamp on there before we tighten her up. It's not perfect up and down, but it's a lot better than it was. And then also, it's bolted in the same plane as it's hanging instead of being bent like that, because when it's bolted like that, all it does is wants to pull that bolt straight or pull that bracket, bend it down. You get what I'm saying. This is better. Why? Because I said so. I also scrounged up a new 2-inch clamp because, you know, why not? Going all out on this old highboy. There we go, solid. All right, I would say she's looking pretty good. BoomTube did say these welded mufflers are better than the crimp type, so he confirmed it. We got our clamp at the back and the front. We got a hanger here, and then we got our hanger on the old tailpipe back here. Nothing looks like it's rubbing or gonna interfere, and it's all kind of sitting how it should. Let's set her on the ground and see how she sounds. Still a pretty massive exhaust leak at the manifold, so let's lift her up in the air and see if we can't snug up the Y pipe to the exhaust manifold, and let's hope it's not the terrible FE head mounting mating surface bolts, but we'll take a look quick. Sure enough, the back bolt snapped off. I'm gonna stick a pick in there and see if it's snapped off or if it rattled out, but I'm guessing it snapped off, and we're not getting into that. Odds are pretty low that the bolt just rattled out, but we'll take a look. Take our old screwed by Mortske repair magnetic screwdriver. Get yours at mortsке.com, and we're gonna stick it in there and see if it goes all the way through. Sure enough, she snapped off. I tried threading a bolt in there. There's clearly one snapped off in the way. Surprise, surprise. So we're gonna do the right thing. We're gonna just lift her up in the air and see if we can snug up the donut, because I think that's where it's leaking at. And it probably didn't help that we were tugging on that muffler and that Y pipe and twisting her around. So spray a little lube and see if we can't snap those sons of guns off. And then we might as well just pull the whole manifold off and drill all the snapped off ones in the head and put some aftermarket heads in a cam and stroke it to 390, and then we'll really have something. Just kidding. Let's snug these up and not snap them off. Of course, they don't want to budge, so let's heat them up. A little heat goes a long ways. This thing better sound better. You see, if the last guy would have just used brass nuts, we wouldn't be doing this. Oh my. Oh, for cheese and rice. Just about got the thing melted. All that heat we put into that nut, and it still pulled the stud out, which is fine. So now I think we're gonna try to put that stud in the vise and get that nut off and put a brass nut like it should have on there. Looky what we found. Stud, same length. It's got fine thread on one end, but it's also got a brass nut. We need coarse thread, so it'll work. Just one of them's gonna have a mismatched thread. I'm sure it won't be the only bastardized thing on this rig. This bottom one's going as you would expect as well, so let's give that one some heat too. And of course you can't get an impact on there. This one at least you can get a ratchet and socket. So that's a win. Oh, there we go. Well, the stud isn't turning, so I don't know if that's good or bad. I do not want that to snap, so let's give her some more heat. All right, new stud on the top and new brass nuts, top and bottom. Got her snugged up. Don't look good, so let's see what happens. Hopefully it just goes away with the grain truckedness, because you don't want your highboy to sound like a grain truck. Or maybe you do. And if you do, I got a deal for you. Yeah, she's definitely leaking out the back of the manifold where that snapped off bolt is going into the head, so. But we're definitely not addressing that, because I don't have the patience, and the vulgarity that would ensue would not be YouTube appropriate, so. That stays with the pickup. What do you think, Duff? She's a dirty mess under here yet, so we're gonna try to sell this thing. Should probably have her cleaned up a bit. So we'll give her a quick douche in and that should be ready to go. Looks like there may have been a small engine fire at some point. I wouldn't worry about that though.
Oh, that little guy. I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
All right, the highboy is now a clean boy. Cleaner boy. This thing looks a lot better when she's wet. I don't really know what else to do. I thought I was gonna put some hubcaps on it. The 3/4 tons have a different hubcap, and I was just gonna take some 2-wheel drive caps that I thought I had around and cut a hole for the lockouts, but found one cap and it was pretty rusty. And if I had 4 rusty caps, I'd have put them on, but I had one. Moral of the story is, it's not getting hubcaps unless something comes about here. But I think that would really just tie her all together. All right, we got this thing back from BoomTube. Sounds, she's rowdy. Got the glass packs and the twice pipes coming out the side, as they should. But really the one thing that we want to address is the wind noise in this thing. And you could see somebody's even tried silicone in this seals. And yeah, it's not my favorite job, but it's about all we can find wrong with this pickup right now. So we got ourselves some fancy kit here off the old Amazonia or eBay, whatever. So it's nothing but the finest. KF1006. Colonel Sanders is well known for his window seals. So let's see what we can figure out here. I'm sure there's a much better tutorial online how to do this than what we're gonna do, but we're gonna grab our mini pry bar here. See if this bottom one comes out. Oh yeah. It's not happy about it. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. So it looks like there's two little guys down here. One is just felt, so that's the inside. And the one is rubber and felt, so that's the outside. And it looks like those clips just kind of snap in horizontally. So let's, and they're not meant to come out, so they're probably gonna fight us. And there's no door panel to take off that can assist in the removal. So let's just get nasty with it. Pry away. Let's put a little light on the subject so I can see what I'm breaking here. Just like so. Looks like those go in last. And these guys go in first. So let's see if we can't fish these out of it. Oh, this is gonna come out in pieces. This is the one I'm worried about. Wow, these two here, front and the back. Oh, yeah, she's pretty dried up and brittle. Grab onto that, slide it up, because it's not only the seal, it's also kind of the guide for the window all the way down. Let's just forget about that and take the top part out. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. These things are just toast.
French toast, no sugar.
We're gonna need to do a little vacuuming after this. There's pieces flying everywhere. Let's see if I can slide this up. Wishful thinking. Yeah, not happening. I wish you could just grab onto that, just slide her all the way out. But it doesn't. All right, we got the door panel off, trying to get that last little bit back here and over here up. And I rolled the window up so I could get at that whatever seal felt stuff down there, and as I rolled the window up, this actually slid up. So maybe we can just slide her up. Oh, come on, baby. There we go. Get most of it out of there anyway. I think we got it all in the front. Now we just got to roll it up, get that back part out of there. Oh yeah, she's in a lot better shape down here, where she wasn't in the sunlight, you know, because we get all that sunlight in North Dakota. Never. All right, so now I think if we roll it down, I don't know what I think. The new stuff actually lays in quite well. Surprising. Now would also be a good time to lube up the regulators as well. We'll definitely forget those. Yeah, it'll be a Christmas miracle if this ever goes back together again. I don't know why, but I hate this tedious stuff. It's not hard. It's rewarding when every time you drive you can hear yourself think. But I don't like it. Nope, not one bit. Okay, so that one's in. And while we got this thing hanging out in the wide open, let's put that one in. Then we just got to put it all back together. All right, now reverse procedure of orders, reverse order of procedures, reverse install procedure. Put the glass in the window regulator. Okay. So we got her spun 90 degrees, turn it counterclockwise. And get your hand in there, scratching all the crap. Try not to break it. So much easier when you can get two hands on it. That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Slide that. So it's into the back one. Maybe. Why won't it go into that back track? Look at this, just even the Indy version, it's the right colors. It's probably the same vintage because it was $2, and I don't think you get much for an aerosol can for $2 anymore. Oh, that's the good stuff right there, baby. Yeah. Guessing it's gonna be a little sticky the first few times, so it wears into place, for better terminology. And as it sits outside, I think it's gonna take shape, but I am really impressed actually with not only the product, but mainly, you know, the skill that I've shown here. All right, now we got to put these two little whoop-dees in and put the door panel on. We're done. And then it's sandwich time. Let's start with the outside one because that one seems more critical for the noise and water ingression and such. Maybe use something not so sharp so we don't break that glass when we're prying on it. Not a bad idea, huh? Okay, I think I screwed up. I think we got to get this piece on the outside of this wing window. Right now I got it in the middle of it, not where we want it. There, we got it. All right, let's do the inside now. Now to see if we remember how to put everything back together. I think one of the Ford guys told me that these door panels are Indy only and are like gold, so try not to damage them. We try not to damage anything around here except when we try to damage things. All right, now we take what we learned on this side, and the other side should be a cinch. Now in theory, this side should go way faster because we got all the tools out. And we learned a few things on the other side, but let's hope we don't screw anything up. Cracos, what a deal. Can't believe I overlooked that on the other side. This side isn't wanting to stick in there as well, so we're gonna put a little 3M VHT adhesive. This stuff's real good. There's actually some in there from the factory. I don't know why the other side didn't seem like it really needed it, but this side definitely does. And if that side gives us fits, we can always add this later pretty easily. Oh yeah, that ain't going nowhere. Where are you going? Nowhere.
He's going nowhere. Where you going? Nowhere.
All right, there you have her. One totally amateur window seal install. Test her out on the road and see what the wing noise is like. This thing was not good before, but it's gonna be a lot better now. I know I didn't get into the wing window, but that's a whole nother can of worms. And then the seal around the door, but those seem like they're in pretty good shape. It was definitely leaking around here, and these were really bad, and those ones down there were pretty bad. These guys weren't great either, but right up in here is where it seemed like it was really whistling. What are we gonna work on next on the old Indy Duff? You just wanna go for rides, I know. So this thing's got 2 tanks. May as well use them, and also the sending unit on the front tank doesn't work. So we should check into that. We haven't dared to switch to the rear, so we should probably inspect that. Before we do that, we've been driving it around a little bit, and it feels slow, and I think I know why. Yeah, it feels just like everything else around here. Well, everything else doesn't feel slow. We're slow. Check this out. So that's like the anti-siphon flapper dealio thing down there. Somebody got sick of that, so they just whammied it down into the bottom of the tank, which is not a great idea. So we got to figure out how to get that out of there. I'm gonna try the old needle nose pliers, but I feel like we're gonna have to pull that whole neck out of there and then get it out that way. Because yeah, otherwise the nozzle keeps clicking off on you, and we can't be having that. They're the grip specials. They're special, all right. Oh, it got them. But of course, they ramrodded it down in there, so yeah, it's not coming up. Son of a... Maybe a pry bar? I guess that's what they knocked it in there with. Oh, we got her moving. So, rotating. We could melt it out of there with a torch. That'd be real effective. All right, this is not working. Let's lift it up and see what the filler neck situation looks like. Before we check out that filler neck, let's check out what Boom Tube hooked us up with. So I guess these pickups never came with factory duals, so he couldn't get factory bend cards. So he just kind of mirrored what's on this side. They all came out the passenger side, and then just added a little length. She really barks though. You can see that's the factory exit style, and then he kind of did the same thing out this side here. It is kind of in the way to drop this tank if we got to do that, but he's got her spliced here, and there's clamps up at the mufflers so we can drop it all down. Not a big deal if we got to take her off there. But yeah, looks pretty good. Maybe this hanger I think is sitting pretty all right, but this one's kind of running at an angle here. Maybe should have moved her back to here. I don't know, whatever. Oh, I suppose that's where the splice was, so he kind of had to put it there. Suppose he could put a second one there, but whatever, he's the master. All right, let's take, oh my gosh. That filler neck is the longest filler neck I ever seen in my life. But I'm guessing it's gotta come out the bottom. Oh, this is gonna be terrible. We'll try a little bit more from the top side before we do that, because I think it's wedged right about in here, and I don't think there's any way we're gonna be able to reach in from this side to get to there. So let's try to pull her off the top. Of course, the back one's doing the same thing, but this one should be pretty easy to just push out the bottom here. Also, while we got that out, if we can look inside this tank, see how bad it is. All right, we lost the little flipper, but we got pretty much everything else. And maybe, just maybe, we might be able to get a magnet in there. We had to mangle it. We had all the locking pliers and tin snips and pry bars out. We got her. We weren't giving up easy. There's the flipper. Got her. So what this thing is I guess in 79, people were siphoning gas because it probably hit almost $1. And this little flapper, when you put your fuel fill nozzle, opens up like that. But I think when you would stick a hose in there to siphon, I'm not a siphoning expert, but I guess when you couldn't push a hose against this, or it would grab onto the hose and kink it and pinch it so it wouldn't siphon, or I don't know what the deal with these is. I don't know if cars still have them, probably, but somebody apparently, it makes it hard to fill with like a gas jug, so you know, typical Ford things. This guy probably was filling this thing with a 5-gallon can, so he of other stolen stuff, or maybe he was filling other things in his yard, or she, and didn't want these in there. But see if we can't get that one out of the back yet. It was, I don't know if it would have been, on that back one it would have been easier to pull the neck, but this one, it was not fun. But pulling that neck out of there was not going to be fun either. One more, let's do this. All right, we might have ganked up the neck a little bit. You don't want to take a cap real bad, so we might have to do some body work there. Whoops. Body by Mortske, good to go. So the real MVP of this operation is Mojo, as always. I don't know what he had this thing for, but it must be some type of hook tool he made. It had like a different end on it, and I removed said different end, but this thing just went under there and gave her the old claw and pulled her right out of there. The claw! Just give her the old, come on now. Oh, should use that Slim Jim tool for locking doors. Probably wouldn't have been aggressive enough, but robust enough. Man, if this thing had a slide hammer on the end, you'd really be getting stuff done. I can only imagine the amount of fine vocabulary that was involved when they finally got sick of these things and pounded them down. So we get her pretty close to the top, and then we get in there with the old tin snips. And my old Weiss tin snips are like me, and they're not very sharp. There. Maybe we won't even need those. We'll just give her the old grab and twist method. Alright. Let's give her the old twister-ooski. How many pairs of pliers can we get into one confined spot? Oh, we might get the flapper with this one. Maybe. Maybe. Got it. Oh, this is a 79 Indy. Low production, rare vehicle, and I just ruined it by taking the flappers out of there. Don't tell anyone at Barrett Johnson. Let's see if the fuel cap fits still. Nailed it. Scuffed her up a little bit in there. We'll touch that up with some gray nail polish. All right, I'm gonna go get the schlong, and we're gonna sneak her down in the fuel filler neck and see what this tank looks like before we dump any petroleum in it and see if it works. Functions, rusty, I don't know. Then we gotta see if all the wiring for switching it over and the selector and all that stuff works too. All right, we're sending the schlong in there. This thing is probably not fuel rated, so if we hit fuel, we should probably stop. Sending the schlong where no schlong has gone before. At least this one is the one that doesn't have a ton of bends in it. Not the schlong, the fuel filler neck. Duff, what are you breathing so hard for? What have you been doing? Watching Cops?
Why are you so sweaty? I was watching Cops.
Oh, there's a ridge we gotta get around. Got through it. We're going into the tank. We're going in deep. What's it looking like? Something shiny up at the upper left corner. What's that? What are you? I don't know. We're so close. We got the tip in there. Just need to go the rest of the way. What is that? Is that like where the bolts that hold the center unit on? Or is that like a return fitting? I think that's, I don't know. I was wondering if that was like a nut cert for where the center unit bolts in place, but you think you'd see more of them. It kind of does look like it's threaded in there. All right, further into the deep abyss. It's real dark in there. Oh, yeah, there's our tank. She's, she looks pretty rusty. You can see all that scale and rust and whatnot. So I think that's going to be a hard no on using the rear fuel tank. Yeah. These tanks are cheap and plentiful, so not even worth messing with. Look at that, didn't even get our schlong dirty. All right, scratch that idea. All right, so not only do we only have one tank, we have no fuel gauge. So I lifted the thing up in the air and I found the splice. Well, it's a connector at the fuel tank where it hooks up to the fuel tank here, the front fuel tank, and grounded that out. Let me show you what happens. So normally this fuel gauge is at E, like it is right now. I'll turn the key on. Like I said, I got that thing grounded. So what we have verified is that not only our fuel gauge works, but our wiring from the fuel gauge on up to the gauge works. So we get a bad sending unit. So we need a rear fuel tank and a sending unit for that tank, most likely. And also a sending unit for the front tank. And then this thing should be a whole lot better. But the old 302 two-barrel is just a gas sipper with the 279 gears and the old 9-inch. So should be good to go. Plus you got cruise control. So this thing's, you could probably go hundreds of miles on a tank of fuel. Now we keep a lot of parts on hand around here, but no fuel sending unit and no fuel tank for a dual tank 1979 Ford two-wheel drive. So that stuff will be up to the next owner, unless it sits around here way too long and we drive it way too much and get sick of running out of fuel on the side of the road, and then we'll order a tank and 2 sending units. Next on the agenda is the roll bar. I don't know that I've ever had an SUV or a pickup or a car. Oh, the Snitch Rocket has a roll bar. I don't know that I've ever had anything with a roll bar, but this is not gonna cut it when we're chasing fine young men across Alabama with our Ford pickup. So I'm gonna show you a little trick here. We're gonna use a punch and we're gonna line up the holes in the base of this roll bar to the bed floor. It was already bolted in once before, I don't know. Oh, the guy had a topper, so he took it off. Anyway, the trick is you drop the bolts through, you start a nut on the bottom, and then you put your locking pliers on it, and that holds it. And then you come up to the top and crank her down. When you're a loser, like me, and your only friend has no thumbs. So that's what we're gonna do. Tech tip of the day. Use a locking pliers as your friend. Brand new yellow zinc plated 3/8 hardware. End washers. Oh yeah, nothing but the finest for this Ford. Oh yeah, the other tech tip is get a lift. So that way you don't have to crawl underneath. Or your buddy does. So here's what we had going on for the fuel tank. This is the connector. This is going to the sending unit on the tank. This is going up inside the pickup truck. I disconnected that, put our jumper wire here to a ground, and that's what pegged it. So we got a bad sender, which we're aware of. We'll hook it back up though. Maybe it'll just miraculously start working again. Looks like originally had some big ugly square washers on here that was clamping this in place, but we're not gonna do that type of hackery. It actually looks like it was undercoated over the big square washers, so that means either from the factory that roll bar was in there, or at the dealer, if the customer opted for the optional undercoating package, they did it at the dealer after they installed the roll bar at the dealer. But I'm guessing the roll bar was installed from the factory. Boy, we ain't gonna get many threads on that one. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. Perfect. Oh, just kidding. Not perfect. Come on there. There we go. These are my favorite, the serrated nuts. Serrated flange nuts, the whiz nuts, Grandpa called them. And we're not gonna need to hold these from the bottom. We're not gonna need the locking pliers. Another tech tip for you. Now we just gotta go up top and snug them down. Check this out though. Bird poop on the U-joint? Yeah, that's that bird is just hanging out down here in the shade, checking out Boom Tube's exhaust, and decided to crap on my yoke. Maybe that's why Puddin doesn't like birds. They're underneath his junk crapping on it. It's a lowered vehicle. This thing was lowered, that bird would have never got underneath there. There you go, another reason to lower your truck. Speaking of lowering, let's lower this thing on the ground and snug them down. That one maybe didn't grab. Very nice.
Very nice.
You don't want to crank these down because they're sitting on the humps on the bed floor, and it's down in the crevasse or the valley. And if we crank that down, it's going to bend that valley up. You don't want that. These shouldn't come loose. Well, that's the other thing is it bends. The hardware should come loose, but these serrated nuts, they really grab onto it. Don't let it come loose. Probably should use nylocks and big washers. And oh, there is actually a shim there. Never mind. We're good to go cranking her to the moon. Good work, Ford. Snug these up. Ouch. Gonna need a wrench. There is actually some bolts that bolt the front panel to it, but looks like that panel's been pushed out a bit. She's kind of bowed towards the cab. Oh, there's our crease right there. And that must have happened when this was not on there, because there's a pretty good gap in there. And I don't want to put those in. They look like a pain to get the hardware on the backside, and it's gonna want to bend that thing back. So we're just gonna leave her. Must have been hauling some huge loads in his topper. I wish I had me some nice black or maybe chrome KC daylighters. 3 of them to go across the top up there, but then you get into wiring them underneath there, making them look good, the wiring look good, functional, because you can't just be a poser with your KC daylighters up top. So yeah, and like I said, I don't have any, and I'm not keeping this thing, so we'll leave that up to the next owner if they want to put either black or chrome KC daylighters on there. Maybe they just want to ditch the roll bar and put a camper topper back on it anyway. I wonder if he had that painted to match. Boy, that'd have been sweet. Painted topper to match your Indy 500. Cat's pajamas. That guy definitely did not, the way he screwed up the fuel filler necks. He didn't have a matching topper. That's probably some crappy aluminum one. So toppers, it's like a bed shell or a camper shell or a camper topper or a bed cover. What do you call them where you're at? We call them toppers around here. The old the blue platers love those things. It's like state law in Minnesota. If you got a pickup truck, you gotta have a topper on the back. I don't know why, but when duck season comes around and ice fishing season, it's just nonstop pickups with toppers driving by with the old blue plates on them. So let me know, comment down below what they call a topper where you're at. And I think once you reach a certain age of old manism, you gotta have one. I think so too. That's why Mojo doesn't have one, because he's still young at heart. Bet if we asked him, he had a pickup that had one though. Anywho, roll bar, ready to go. Like I said, I got these brackets just begging for lights. Totally set up for it, even though there's like no support underneath there. I would assume that was from the factory, who knows? But maybe somebody added them. Ah, no, they're sitting at an angle so they sit level. That's definitely factory stuff. Let's put the finishing touches on the exterior of this thing. So there's a special band that goes across the tailgate for these trucks, and it's not on here. But guess what? It came with one. To me, it looks like you just paint it orange in the center, whereas that one's aluminum. But anywho, we're gonna put it on there. It's just 6 screws. 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. Let's do this. This tailgate don't open as nice as most of the Fords. Still opens better than a square body. Oh no, broke my bit. Oh, how will we ever financially recover from that?
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Oh, it would be nice to have a second person here for this. One stock band removed. Oh, we should put it on upside down just to really mess with the Ford purists. Like the guys who changed the hood emblem letters around to Duff. Oh, we thought we were so cool when we did that in high school. Hey, tell you what, if you had one of these things or know somebody that did, comment down below. Better yet, if you got a picture of it, email it to us. mortskerepair@gmail.com. We'll check them out. Be pretty cool. My uncle had a 78 or 9 like this. I think it was a 79. Short box, the Gray Ghost we call it. I was just thinking about that. This is the same color as that pickup. But anyway, the Gray Ghost was a 302 oil burner. He had it for years. But anyway, it was a super cab short box. Pretty cool. Had the Western like 10-spoke wheels on there. But anyway, if you got a picture of one of these things from back in the day, I can find all kinds of pictures on the internet, but if you got some of your own personal pictures of one of these that your dad had or your uncle had or you had or the neighbor guy had, send us a picture. mortskerepair@gmail.com. Alright, what are we going to do with this? Hang it on the wall with all our other things that we need to hang up? Usually the Fords, you don't have to pull the handle to close it. This one you gotta pull the handle and kind of give her a little love tap. Oh yeah, I suppose I could have cleaned it, but really ties her together there. The pumpkin orange in the middle of the Ford. Good stuff. Mechanically, this thing's pretty good for what we got for parts. Next thing is we got this seal, the old camper shell topper. Let's see if we can't get that off of there a little bit. 3M to save the day again. These, I don't know, I call them stripper wheels. They're these little rubber wheels. And pretty good for taking decals and adhesive and whatnot off. They don't mar up your paint. Much better. These things, they're kind of expensive, but they work really, really good. And it's super easy. You can use it with a air drill as well. That's actually what I prefer, but it's kind of noisy. Oh yeah, that's way better. So go give this thing a bath. See how she looks, huh, Duff? Or should we show them those twice pipe glass packs? Yeah, we could probably do that too. All right, we got our topped off with petrol. So you can tell we don't have a fuel gauge. Let's take this thing for a rip. It does kind of have a little bit of a tick when you start it up, and it's a little bit of a clatter. I don't know, it almost sounds like a rod knock, but it definitely isn't a rod knock because we have oil pressure is almost pegged. And it goes away when it warms up. If you had a rod knock, they get louder under a load, and then as they warm up, they get louder because the oil gets thinner. So I think it's just lifters pumping up or valve train. So anyway, I would just run it as is, but if you were very anal retentive, you would maybe put a set of lifters in it or completely rebuild the engine. Either way, not in the books. Not in the books for us, I should say. Some of that exhaust. Glass pack life. What do you think, Doug? You like the glass packs? It says I like it when it rains out, so that I can go be a swamp donkey dog. Aww. Oh, it's just the seal around the door. So I'll add that to the list. The window seal is good. It's the seal around the door right here. But it's way better than it was. This thing is a really good driving pickup. It's got a super nice interior. Not only is it stylish, it's pretty plush. Power steering, power brakes, both work good. FM radio, I think we had it working. Oh yeah, FM radio works, cruise works. Nice dash pad, nice headliner. This thing is a pretty cush pickup. Delay wipers, yeah, you gotta remember they turn them backwards for the delay. And forward for high and low, silly Ford things. If I were to keep this thing, which I'm not keeping it, I hope, price and availability in the video description. If I were to keep this thing, I'd put a door seal in it. I'd mess around with the AC and get that working, because that would make this thing real nice. I'd put some KC daylighters up top. I'd like to find the right wheels for it, the 10-hole forged aluminums. These ones aren't bad. They look about as close as you're going to get without the real things. And yeah, that's about it. I would lower it, of course, but there's no good way to lower these things. Green beams just don't get them low enough for me, and they're too expensive for what they are, in my opinion. So we graft a front end of sorts onto them. But I think, yeah, like I said, dig up a couple little things, just drive the snot out of this pickup. It's not worth it to fix all the rust and repaint it and all that. I think they made like 4,225 of this pickup with this option. The two-wheel drive F-150 Pace trucks. And they offered an F-100 and F-150. I thought F-100 was two-wheel drive and 150 was four-wheel drive, but I'm guessing F-100 is the light two-wheel drive and 150 is the heavier duty two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Or I'm sure or somebody will comment down below, Mortske, the difference between a F100 and F150 is, yeah, we're sailing down the road, going far too fast. I wasn't watching the speedo. This thing, it's 302. It really, it performs a lot better than I expected. I don't know that I've ever really had it. I think the Snow Wagon's got a 302. I haven't had a lot of Ford V8s in the fleets. I've had more FEs than anything, and flatheads, and Y blocks than overhead valves. I've never really had a 429. Had a 460 in the Ram truck that we never really drove. That's also available. Hit us up or check out mortskerepair.com. But yeah, this thing's pretty good. I thought they'd be pretty poochy, like a 305 Chevy, but no, she'll hang there with the 350s, I think. 351 Windsor, this thing would be right up town. Yeah, fresh tires, fresh tranny, fresh exhaust, fresh radiator. Oh yeah, I would fix those fuel tanks, the fuel tank, and then both the sending units. That's like what needs to be done. This thing runs super cool. I'd maybe throw some plug wires on it, the cap rotor. It's got no plugs. The carb could maybe use a rebuild, but it works surprisingly well. It just looks greasy, so just kidding. Don't touch the carburetor. I wouldn't. Yeah, other than that, this thing is, she's pretty good, huh, Duff? Duff's not in long. He's just hanging out in the seat, soaking in all the red piping and black and silver vinyl. I don't know why I'm speeding. I need to set the cruise control on this baby. I think we finally got the cruise set. You gotta set it, not forget it, speed up a little bit so you're higher than the speed you set it at, and then let it slowly down to the speed that you want it to be, and then it'll stay there. I should have looked to see what brand this is, how it's set up. It's got a magnet on the drive shaft, or what? A little hill here. Drops down quite a bit. Came down about 5 miles an hour. I was wondering if it'd come back up, but she's already coming back up for the top of the hill. So. Totally adaptive cruise control. Is that what they call it now, where you just set it and forget it, and like get close to a car and it slows you down, and the car gets away and it speeds back up? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. This thing drove pretty good on the way home and drives pretty good now. Like I said, a couple little things I'd maybe dig up, but other than that, this thing is ready to go. It is ready for you to own, Duff says, right? Price and availability in the video description. Hit us on mortskerepair@gmail.com. Let us know when we need to come drop it off at the airport for you, like we did with the Oklahoma Lullaby dually. That thing went back to Oklahoma. Just got done selling a pile of cars this week. The Grand Prix 63 left yesterday, last night. What else left yesterday? The dually left on Friday. 66 Chevelle left on Friday. 60 Cadillac flat top left yesterday. There was one other one that left yesterday. Remember what it was, though? Oh yeah, the 47 Ford Coupe left yesterday. So I sold 5 cars in the last 2 days. I listed 15 cars on the Facebook Marketplace, so I think I got 10 more to sell. And if you want to talk about hating your life, list 15 old cars ranging from $650 to $20,000 on Facebook Marketplace, so you get the entire collection of all the insert colorful name here people. If I never see is this available comment again, it would be too soon. But unfortunately, it's really the only way to sell anything anymore. It's the most effective way to sell anything. Zuckerberg, get rid of the stupid isn't available auto replies. when you reply with that, you get a reply on one of these, because that's my auto reply, is the thumbs up. And then they never say anything after that. Oh, once in a while, I had like 3 of them. They're like, oh, I hit that by accident. I'm like, oh, I appreciate that. But I had a lot of people who never said anything after that. Like, no, sorry, no. Oh yeah, I got any other questions? And then people just like, can you send me some pictures of what? And then they don't say anything. You gotta love people. But anyway, we're thinning the herd. We're slashing prices. We're buying high and selling low, and making up for it in volume. That's what we're doing, right, Duff? Mortske economics. Really, all these cars are just sitting in my yard that I'm not going to do anything with, so I picked the ones that are worth more gone than they are to sit in the yard. Like some cars, like the 70 Torino, it's worth more to me to have 351 Windsor or Cleveland or whatever parts than it was to spend chin. It was worth it. It's the Torino's worth more to me to have parts in the yard than it's worth it available. Like we put it for $1,500. If nobody will give me $1,500, we'll keep it in the yard for a 9-inch and a C6 and a 351. So yeah, buy some of my junk. All right, I just met Chin. We're gonna give him an SD card and it's gonna wrap up our test drive. This thing's good. What do you think? You just want to get out and run around in the tall grass and get stinky. Maybe do some spraying. What do you think? Should we sell this thing? I agree. All right, folks, there you have it. We went up to the Mopar Madman's a couple 100 miles away and helped him out by thinning his fleet so he could buy a 70 Charger 383 4-speed car, because they're real money. And it's not his dream car, but I support 4-speed cars and he wanted a 4-speed car. So I said, I'll help you out by buying your 2 pickups in your 55 Plymouth Savoy Plaza station wagon. That one's available as well. Price and availability in the video description. I'm losing money on that one for sure, and I might break even on that one, maybe, if I don't figure anything for my time. So this is the way to buy cars. Buy them from somebody else like me or the Mopar Madman, and let them do the legwork and have their fun and take a loss on it. So you can get it and make it your own. What would I do to make these things my own? I'm pretty sure on this highboy, I would take it to somebody and pay them real money to have them fix that exhaust manifold leak, because that process is absolutely miserable. And that's about all that thing needs. Maybe do a seat cover, or rebuild the seat. There again, if you had to get the seat rebuilt, you have to go somewhere. I'd probably find some hubcaps and put on there, just kind of church it up a bit. And I would either fake patina a tailgate, this tailgate, or try to find a closer red or orange tailgate. Other than that, this thing's pretty good. I would just drive it as is. Both of these pickups, you'd probably have $60,000 to restore them and maybe get 25, 30 out of them when they're done. So I wouldn't restore these. I would just drive the crap out of them. If you like cruising gravel and going hunting and pulling trailers, this pickup's for you. If you like staying on the highway and maybe going to some shows or just have a old daily driver, this one is for you. This pickup needs door seals. That's what I would do. I would do a sending unit and then a fuel tank and a sending unit in the back, mess around with that AC and get that AC working, and this thing would be super. This pickup drives good. It sounds good. You could maybe put lifters in it, but I would probably just keep running. Both these pickups got new tires, new brakes, new radiators. This pickup could probably use some plug wires and ignition tune-up. Does it need it? No, but I would just maybe do it. Neither of them has flexi hoses, so that's a good thing. Cruise works on this thing. This pickup drives so good. It's got a nice seat in it. It steers nice. It's got the cool graphics steering wheel. Maybe put some KC daylighters on the top. But yeah, you could have yourself your very own collector edition 79 Ford two-wheel drive Indy pace car, pace truck. I do have the Marty reports on both of these and titles, so whoever buys them will get all that stuff. So get them out of my yard. I've always said I wanted to own a highboy, and I did, and I'm over it. So yeah, I'll stick with my 71 Ford four-wheel drive. That's kind of the best of both worlds here, because you can't lower these, and if it sticks around here, we'll just have to cut the front end out and put a different front end under it, and and lower it, because Dream Beams don't get them low enough and they're expensive. So we can't have two-wheel drive around here that's not lowered, because we already got Bernie. Yeah, Bernie's our dent side. That's our go-to dent side. So these ones can all go away, including the ramp truck. That's for sale as well. Hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com. All the prices and availability are at mortske.com on these vehicles as well, including the ramp truck. Also on mortske.com, so that we can keep buying dumb stuff from our friends and taking a loss and passing it on to you. What does Kyle say? Buy high and sell low, but I make up for it in volume. So that we can do that, go get yourself some merch. We got caps, we got beanies, we got sweatshirts, we got t-shirts, we got decals, we got magnetic can koozies, magnetic screwdrivers, coolers, banners, bobblehead Duffs, you name it, we got it. If we don't got it, you don't need it. So go check that out. Just watching, comment, liking, sharing, subscribing, and especially all you that purchased items from mortske.com. That's what keeps this going, so we can make some content. So hopefully we'll get on to some stuff that doesn't run. But like I said, I wanted to help my buddy out, and I wanted to say that I owned that pickup, and I wanted to say that I owned a highboy, and so now I can say I did that. So now they can go away. I think that's about it. So again, thank you, bottom of my heart, for me and Mojo and Chin and Duff and everybody else involved here at mortske.com. Remember, it doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you're having fun. Old Fords, they're kind of fun. They're fun when you buy them from people who don't sell you complete garbage. But that does make for better content. All right, on to the next one. This is a 64 Catalina with barf, Krager's, and white letters. He's got this thing running. It's got a tilt column in it. We got this out of a junkyard a handful of years ago. 389 automatic. The tranny's been giving him some problems, and so he doesn't really trust it. But again, I think he did a tune-up and fuel tank and a bunch of stuff. She's kind of a driver if you trust the transmission. And it's got that silly 2-speed thing. I'm betting he would sell this one, because he's probably not going to get to put a transmission in it. I, however, did think that he found a later like 3-speed, like a turbo 400 or something to put in it. All right, this is where the good stuff's at. This is where the affordable stuff is at. This is where we're picking up one as well. He's into tractors too, unfortunately. I don't know what this is. It's green. It's a John Deere. It's I don't know. It's gas. It's diesel. It does tractor things. Looks like he put a new seat on it just so it could rot off. So it got spark plugs? Oh, the red cap means it's a diesel.
And the red fuel.
I don't know what this is. We'll just say it's a 50 something or other. I bet this tag down here tells you. It's a 4010.
Ah, so close.
I think this is a 71 or 2 Newport. I think it's a 72. Nope, maybe. Yeah, probably. I don't know. He's all about the windshield things. To me, this looks like a derby car, but for the right person, it's probably awesome. The inside looks pretty respectable, and the tires hold air, and it's got a vinyl top, so that's a shot. That's a Newport Custom Oldsmobile 88 2-door hardtop. This came from the same junkyard that the 60 Chevy Impala for a hardtop and several of my other cars came from that we did videos on. And then this big back window fridge Ford come from another local junkyard. Oh, it's a custom cab. It's got the custom cab steering wheel on it. Looks like he's got wipers and hoses and tune-up kit ready for this thing. Red is his favorite color, so I'm sure that's why he bought this one. Long box. I think it's a 1/2 ton. Yep, 5 lug wheels. Pretty decent pickup. What year? 59. Chin says it's a 59. You can tell by the way that it is. Last tagged in 76. And so it come from the same place as that Pontiac and that Oldsmobile. He got this International Scout. We went back a while later and saw they had this there, and he thought it was too complete to pass up, so now he's got this. I think it's one of the later ones. I'd say like 77-ish. Yeah, I think it's all there, but typical Scout. She's rusty. It's got slots though. And then, you guessed it, 59 Plymouth forward look Mopar. I think he bought this as a parts car. He actually owns the 59 Plymouth station wagon, so I don't think he wants to sell this one. He's keeping it for parts for that. She's the Belvedere option, but it does have the same color doors and stuff. Oh yeah, this one come from the same place that I got my 60 Plymouth station wagon. He got it for the doors because the doors are the same color as that Plymouth wagon, and his had a mismatched one. And then he said there was a Facebook Marketplace deal. It's pretty bad. I know the stories on all these cars and they're not mine. He had a Facebook Marketplace deal on this car, and he went and looked at it. It was rougher than he thought. I guess he said it's got really nice floors in it, and I think he said he got it running, but anyway, I bet he would sell it. Oh, it does have pretty nice floors. These cars are always rotten in the floors. 3-speed car, 235, all the glass is in it. Looks like somebody took some trim off. Got a spare rear window, but yeah, 54. I don't know why he thought he needed that. She's a Bel Air. This one came from the same place as the Plaza we're getting. He bought it because it says Wrighton on it, which is a local manufacturing company, and they actually had ties with Melrose and Bobcat at one point, no longer. But yeah, she's a 250. I think he just bought it because of the doors. Mason Motors, it looks like, Cooperstown. Unfortunately, it's in bad shape. Kind of like this wood tick is about to be here. I believe this is a 55 model. I've never seen one with this trim going through the grill. Yeah, it's got writing across the front. That's cool. This Model T came from the same place that my crew cab, like 61 or 2 Chevy come from. It was sitting in a building there, and he was gonna use it as yard art. Never used it as yard art, so here it is. Neat thing about these is they had this little gear-driven speedometer that ran off the front wheel. Looks like just the gear is there now. But it'll be a cool little truck. Again, I don't think he's gonna do anything with it, so I bet he'd sell it. Next is this Ford grain truck. He said it was too good of a deal and they drove it home. So there it is. I don't know why he bought it. I think they said the battery was even charged up on it. I think a deer sacrificed its life for this Ford. Here is the 70 John Deere diesel. Again, too good of a deal. He said he couldn't pass up. Somebody had restored it back in the day, you know, 30 years ago, and then it just kind of rotted away into the ground. He bought it and got it going. I bet he would sell these too. But apparently he's proud of them. I don't know. I don't get into tractors. 63 Bel Air 4-door. He said this one is spoken for. I think he got this at an auction for like 160 bucks. Same auction that I got the Plymouth with the dual exhaust manifold. And I think it had dual carbs that had a hole in the block. But yeah, he got that same day, that sale. This car I know is for sale. 64 2-door post that came from a local salvage yard. It's a pretty cool car, but it's kind of rough. 2-door posts are cool though. Biscayne, little rust in the quarters. Not bad. I think he's got a frame for this car, a 59 frame. And I think he wants, oh yeah, the floors are really bad in this car. Oh, maybe not that bad. Yeah, they're bad. I'm not even gonna say what I think he wants because I'm probably off, but I know this car is for sale. It'd be a cool car. Needs some work. Can't remember the front clip. We got that where my 6.2 diesel tow truck came from. He got it because he wanted some emblems or something off of it. Joe Ford Incorporated, Valley City, North Dakota. Guessing that was parts for something else. This came from the same yard as that Oldsmobile and a few of the other cars, that 60 Impala that I had. I'm guessing it's a V6. I don't know. I feel like there's no engine in it. He would probably sell this one because I know he's had it for like 4 or 5 years and hasn't done anything with it. It's not a bad pickup. Pretty complete too. Typical rust in the rockers and the dog legs. Here's the forward look Mopar lineup. I found him this parts car when we got his 59 running. This is a 59 Suburban as well, not for sale. He's keeping that for parts. Man, he's got a fleet of these things. I think this is a 58. This has got the dip over the headlights. That one does not. Maybe it's a 57. Dang, wood ticks everywhere. This is another, same year as that one, I think 58. Another Catalina like the one out front. This is a parts car for that one. I think he took the tilt out of this one and put in that other one. And then another Buick. It's like a 54, I believe. Don't know much about this car. I can't remember the story on this one. Anyway, yeah. All right, we're gonna jump in the highboy and head her for home and pick wood ticks off of me and hope I don't get Lyme disease or whatever that disease is where you can't eat red meat. That would really suck. Dang it, another one.